So this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be working on cars or nothing in this one. I just wanted to take a minute and talk to you guys about projects. Now, at the time I'm shooting this video, this is October 1st, 2025. So things have changed significantly. Prices, availability, what these cars are worth, how hard they are to come by, etc. It's all different. The market is down a little bit right now, but that still does not affect the cost of the cars as much as you think it would, as well as parts prices, labor, etc., right? So I just figured I'd go over a little bit of it with you because the numerous customers and calls and things that I've been dealing with, I kind of feel like maybe this would be helpful, or it just needs to be said, however. All right, so let's get into it. So I guess the first place we should start is purchasing a project car. Now, I don't care if the thing is in boxes or it's a driver that needs work. More than likely, you're pretty much going to end up in the same spot. The number one thing, and I mean number one, is how much rust does that car have? More so than body damage, rust. And where is the rust? And the third thing, so 3 things. How much rust? Where is the rust? And number 3, and this could be the most important, believe it or not, what Volkswagen is it that you're looking at? Because believe it or not, it's not the same deal. So for instance, the number one worst Volkswagen, if you were to buy it that has rust, that's going to cost you the absolute most, Karmann Ghia. That is number one. This will cost you more than a Thing, a Beetle, a Bus, any of them rust-wise. Why? Because there are layers on top of layers all over these cars. And like this car behind me here, this is a very, very nice example of a Karmann Ghia. This is very clean and very dry. However, little stuff always turns into big stuff. For instance, right here on the quarter, you can see I've got a patch welded in there, haven't ground it yet. That small little thing was just some pinholes. Opened it up, and lo and behold, that metal turned out to be way bigger. And then the layer behind that has issues. The layer that's behind that has issues. And that's just the way it goes with these cars. And the fact that just the doors and the hood and the deck lid basically unbolt from the body adds to that likelihood of rust. All these extra seams that are locked together, it's just perfect for rust to get in there. And the more you got to dig into it to get to it, added cost, etc. Okay, so now probably the number 2 car for rust. I'd probably say a Thing. I don't deal with those very much, but the way that they are built structurally, it's not that great, if I'm being honest. And then people can be offended by this and whatever. I'm just my opinion and what experience I have with all this, right? So you get something like a Thing. It's got a lot of body flex because there's no roof. It's kind of like this Ghia. You've got structure here and you got structure here. Other than that, there's a lot of flex. So when you get a car like that, it's going to have more flex and stuff. It's going to open up those seams. The rust is going to get in there. And when the rust gets in the seams, that's one of the worst case scenarios of rust that there could be. Because you got to do so much more to try to cure it. And there are times where a car can look pretty decent like this, and it had rust in all the seams, depending on where it was, by the coast, whatever the situation was. Tarps on it for years outside and the humidity getting trapped. Even though it go, oh, it doesn't look that bad, that can kill a car in a hurry. Or it's going to kill your wallet. And it may do both. So, number 3 on the list, I would say probably split window buses, but split window buses and Beetles I feel are getting pretty close to the same as far as rust conditions and kind of the cost to fix them. All right. So buses obviously are very valuable. The Beetles are becoming more so if you have a small window car, especially like this 63 here. But I mean, this one with the cover on it right here, this is a 69 and that thing is 8 up. So pick your poison, right? The thing about it is if you're going to spend your time and you're going to spend your money on something, just know that if you get that really good deal and it has rust in it, and I don't care what year it is, what model, even if we're just talking about Beetles here, you're going to spend a lot. And at the end of the day, to be honest, it's like once you get the metal work done, your car is kind of going to look the same, okay? Because it's not going to change the way your paint looks, you know, as far as that goes, or upgrade your drivetrain or something like that. So just keep that in mind. The number one expense I feel like on these cars today is rust repair. And the reason for that is not only is some of the metal expensive, you can buy cheaper metal, but honestly, you're going to spend more fitting that cheaper metal than if you would have stepped up and bought that high dollar stuff. That is one of the few things I can say today. You get what you pay for, because I can rarely say that about anything anymore. It used to be the way, cry once and be done with it, just spend what you have to, do it right and be done with it. And most everything we know nowadays, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, you're going to cry over and over and over because you're going to have to keep replacing the part. It ain't no good. And there's like no warranty. That too is making it very difficult to do these cars. I say that the average person now, it's getting to the point of being out of reach to build a car from the ground up. Even if you're just trying to go for a clean driver, nothing over the top, you just kind of want to go through it and restore it. That is getting out of reach. Now, if you can do all the work yourself, do it. Number one, just do it. Do it and do it yourself, and you can be okay there. It's still going to cost you a lot, but you're going to be okay. Now, if you got to take it to someone like me to do this work for you, this is a whole different ball game, because that added cost on top of the materials and everything else is going to double, triple your budget right out of the gate. And like I say, rust is going to eat up more than your paint job, your motor, all that, if it's bad. Now, if it's minor, battery tray, like this car here, I got to do front and rear apron sections and stuff on it. I mean, that's not horrible. That's not a big deal, right? However, I'll flip you around. Getting into something like this 69. Heater channels are getting 8 up. The back of both sides are bad. The lower door hinge area is rusting on both sides. There's more holes on the other side. You come up here in the front, in the wheel well here, you can see at the back, this dark section here, where, like you can see, all the road debris and stuff hits this. It's a natural rust spot. Plus, it's at the bottom of this, so any kind of leaks here are going to run down. They're going to get trapped, and it's going to rot, right? So you have that. Well, then it's been bumped in the front. And I should have uncovered this first. Let's see if I can get in here. And if for no other reason, it'll kill the project because you've spent a bunch of money on stuff that you technically, it's like you can't see it. It's not like, oh man, I went and spent $3,000. Look at this freaking nice interior I bought. Or I went and spent $3,000 and look at these nice wheels and these dual carbs and blah, 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 right? You don't get all that nice, shiny, cool stuff. You just get rust repair. And then they're gonna go, okay, well, I've spent all this on rust repair. And then they really start paying attention to how much is an interior gonna cost me? Wiring harness, motor work, brakes, wheels, tires, yada, 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 right? Then when you start sitting down, you start adding up them numbers, you're gonna go, I had no idea. Because if you're thinking 10, trust me, it's 20 or better. And it happens so fast. One thing that I've been trying to do here was I try to steer people in the right direction so that they don't get caught spending way more money than the car is worth. Unless, and I do completely understand this, if you have sentimental attachment to the car, like say this car, your grandpa had it or something like that. That's a completely different story. Completely different. Because with that, the number in a way does not matter. The car matters. And if you say, okay, well, I can sell you a solid body for a fraction of what it's going to cost to repair this one, 9 out of 10 of those people are going to say no, because then it's not grandpa's car. It's another car. So those people are going to say, whatever it takes, get it done. And you do it because you can understand, right? But these are all different situations. Most people are not in that situation. The reason that you see a lot of projects that people get burned out on and are up for sale is because they've had to spend so much money on things like rust that don't get them where they're wanting to go. So not to make this video too long, I have some other ideas for some other videos, but I feel like this rust is something that really needed to be talked about and addressed. Because let's face it, every single one of these cars has some form of rust in it. And even if you say rust free, right? And you can search around the car and be like, there's no rot in it. There's surface rust somewhere. It's lurking there. There's always stuff you can't see that later on down the road is going to show itself. That's a given. But the other thing you have to watch out for when it comes to rust and when you're buying these cars is who did the work on them and at what level of quality did they do it. One, in the metal, did they buy correct metal? Is it not even year correct? Did they tack weld it in and Bondo over it? You know, there's a lot of cutthroat people out there and they do some really half-ass shitty jobs. And I'm not talking about like old school ways versus this new school way, we'll say, of, you know, oh, they didn't grind their welds all the way down and it's not metal finished perfect, like you can't tell that they've ever been there. I'm not talking about that. That's not for everyone. And that's not to say that every car needs to be metal finished perfect. They don't. If this is your daily driver, you don't need to spend extra hours, we'll say 5 hours more, doing a section here in the rear, making sure like, oh man, it's perfect. If somebody, 10 years down the road strips this car down to metal, they're gonna be like, wow, you don't have to go there. It's all just kind of case by case specific. As long as it was a quality repair done properly, that's all that really matters. Because at the end of the day, if you're riding around in this thing, it needs to be safe. You don't want somebody who had gone in there and tack welded in heater channels and then somebody runs a light and runs into you and the car shears off or something stupid like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's one thing for me when I look at cars for sale. or cars that people have brought in that have had previous work is how good was that done? Should we continue on, or do we need to fix what has already been done? So just kind of keep that in mind. But basically, just watch out for rusty cars, okay? If you see that it's getting into a lot of these seams, you know, and I'm talking like around the windows, you know, where major panels are coming together and it's swelling up and you got rust in there, that's, to me, is a telltale sign that you're about to go down a road you don't want to go down. Now, granted, there could be just a small section on the car and the rest of it's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's a case-by-case scenario. But if you're starting to see it here, and then you seeing it up around the hood, and you're seeing it at the back, it's kind of spread out all over the car. That's just kind of a warning. There's going to be a lot more than what you expect, and it may be bad. So in conclusion, just kind of, I'm giving you a heads up as to what you're going to get yourself into. The things that kind of get overlooked, and the way I've been looking at it here for the last little while, is rust is the silent killer of these cars. For them by themselves, you know, eating them up and getting rid of them, but also for the budget. And, you know, not everyone can come out here and cut one of these cars all to pieces and weld it all back together. And that's no offense to anybody, just everyone has a different skill set, and that's fine, you know. We all just kind of stay in our own lane, kind of a thing. But just keep yourself out of trouble. Just know these things when you're going to look at something, that no matter what the price is, you better dig deep in it as best you can, and know that rust is going to hit your budget a lot harder than you think it will. Because you can get into something like the first Karmann Ghia that I've got here on the channel, the 57 that's still in process, and you can spend a bunch of money on a car to get it solid, and you'll be exhausted by the time that that's done. And then it's like, okay, now we're starting where you'd hope to start, and let's do the body work, let's make it look pretty, let's get it running, driving down the road, all that cool stuff. And you're either, number one, burned out, completely sick of the car, and you just want to get rid of it and cut your losses, or you got to really just buckle down and deal with what it is and ride it out to see the finish line. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a lot of talking and stuff, but I felt like it needed to be addressed because we're all kind of in this together with these cars. You know, the Volkswagen community is just kind of like that, you know. Everybody's supposed to look out for everyone else. And, you know, times have changed. The value of the cars have changed. Everything's kind of changed. So it's what we're in for now. So if you got one of these, you better buckle up. All right, if you guys haven't yet, please subscribe, leave this video a like so more people can see it out there, and I'll see you on the next one.